Speaking about jumping lines, what's up?
Oh, it's trying to work on my water heater.
So we have a guest today, Michael
We
Bailey
do.
Smith.
Michael Bailey Smith. We were commenting about your look overall, and it's funny because there's this jump. You had this look that was that clean cut American hard jawbone, the look, and then all of a sudden it seemed like all of a sudden you look like the evil, the bad guy.
Yes.
It's that was conscious, right?
Yes. Yeah, agreed. First, before we start, I told this to TJ.
Yes.
I have a tooth missing, so if I see me smiling, tooth missing. So I am getting some dental work done, so we're in the middle of that. So that's what happened. I could wear a fake thing, but I'm not wearing that. So
yeah. You know what? Nobody's. I mean, look, you're up against me, so you look great. Yeah.
Yeah, back to your question. So I started, in the biz probably in 1989, probably 90s with my first gig was the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, playing Super Freddy, and then I had hair, and the whole time I wanted to be Hollywood's new leading man was my whole thing, but I wasn't getting a lot of work that way, and I always found myself having to slick back my hair. And then in 2000, I went for an audition for a TV show called Charmed. And
right.
So on that show, there was a character called, it was a Grimlock. It was called Janor. For the episode was called All Hallowell's Eve. And I think it was the first or second season of that show. And they said, hey, if you get this role, you're going to have to shave your head. And I'm like, okay. And so I got it, and they said, okay, go do it. And so it became a family event. My younger son, who was like 3,
right,
or 4 maybe, and then my wife, and we shaved she shaved my head for me. And so fortunately, I have a good bald head. I don't have like rimples or or you see people with waves of skin or all things like that. I just a clean head, and I look halfway decent at the time.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's funny. But it's just two distinct looks, because
Agreed.
The funny thing is it's like the lower part of your face is more squarish looking, and the top is like a perfect dome. It's the perfect bald head, and
I did notice something. This is interesting. So, come on, we're guys, right? So, the world wraps around, if women are checking you out, right? And so when I had hair, even though I was married, you'd go somewhere and girls would, stop and look at you, whatever. But the moment I shaved my head, it's like the light flipped off. Yeah. So I became from being this attractive guy to being a holy crap, I got to hide my children. So
now though, you found it easier to find roles.
Most definitely. Yeah. I mean, before I had to, believe it or not, like for instance, I read for, this is a funny story. I went in and read for a Jean-Claude Van Damme film, and the first time I read for his film, it was with Ringo Lam was the director, and I forgot the name. It was called Double something. I forgot. And we were going to shoot this in Italy. And so I went in and read for the director, Ringo Lam, and I had to do some martial arts. I was at the time I was a pretty good martial artist, so I did some moves and things like that. And then he said, "So, Michael, so when you come back, I want you to meet Jean-Claude, and he's going to, he's going to say that you're too good looking. So don't shave, mess your hair up, whatever." So I did all that, went in, met him, he turns to Ringo right in front of me, and goes, "Why did you bring him in here? He's too good looking. I don't want him. I don't want him." Like I said, okay. So I didn't get the role. And then so about maybe a year and a half left later, there was another movie he did in the desert, and I was playing, and I was up for it again, and I think John Appleby was a pretty well-known director. I guess he directed like the first Rocky or something like that. I can't remember, but I got called in to read for that, and my manager's like, I I told my manager, I said, why are you tell the director that Jean-Claude doesn't like my look, that, I don't know, competition. I am not, but he's Jean-Claude. So
Right.
so I went in to read, and they said, "You're great. We'd love to have you back. And read for it. I'm just telling you right now, he's not going to like me." And then they saw the tape, and the director called my manager. Goes, "What does he have against Michael?" So now we flash forward a couple years. My head's shaved by this time. My wife's having our second child, and I'm literally in the hospital. We're in the hospital. My wife just had the baby like a couple hours beforehand, maybe. And my manager calls me. She goes, "I know this is a really important time right now, but you have an audition." I'm in the, my wife's got the new baby, it's the first blow, all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and so she goes, "Go ahead. We need to do the work. You need to do the work." So it was for Jean-Claude Van Damme film. It was called In Hell, and we shot that in Bulgaria. And the thing is, I went to go audition, didn't recognize me, nothing, didn't know who I was. And the funny thing is, so we're in Bulgaria. So I got the role. We're in Bulgaria. We're having all dinner, the cast dinner. He's sitting right next to me. He goes, "Michael, you look so familiar. How do I know you?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Just don't know.
I just don't know.
Did you had you changed your hair though?
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, right. So you changed. Oh God. Okay, there you go. Exactly. Well, I wouldn't recognize you in a million years. I mean, but I mean, it's all the way back to the characters you roll. You could do just go from one side to the other.
Yeah.
To the other.
It's
now,
like,
did you tell him we had the rock version of him on?
Yeah.
You had Carl?
Yes. Yeah. We had Carl.
Awesome. Yeah. He's a good friend of mine.
I remember Carl and I were talking about the last time I had seen him was right before he broke through the
wall.
brick wall.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which by all means is got to be the premiere shot of the whole film.
Yeah. Agreed.
But so that was an interesting place to film that, wasn't it? Corman.
Yeah, it was one of my first, because understand I did Nightmare on Elm Street 5, then I went and did CIA Codename Alexa with Lorenzo Lamas and O.J. Simpson, Kathleen Kenmont, and somebody else. I became the fourth lead in that film. We shot that down in an abandoned meatpacking plant in downtown Los Angeles.
Oh yeah. Been there. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I did all that. And so going to our next thing, doing a Roger Corman film was like, okay, this is how I didn't experience nice sets until I did a movie called Town and Country with Warren Beatty, Charlton Heston, all these names. And that set was holy crap. And you got like real catering food. You got the real five-star catering instead of pizza boxes, and whatever. Right. So yeah, it was I didn't mind it at all. We had when we were filming this, the whole cast knew that this was something special as towards, it's a comic book, it's a famous one, it's a Stan Lee creation. And, we were doing this and we were like, this is really cool. And, no one ever, when they go to make a film, goes to make a crappy film or writes a crappy movie, right? No one
exactly. No one does.
It's funny. I'll have people like when I first started, I did some kind of stuff that was a little questionable. I mean, that's towards the, and they say, well, why do you keep doing crappy films? I said, well, it's not, I think my acting's okay in it. I don't think it's a collaborative effort. So yeah.
I personally liked your role. I liked everybody. I was. In fact, to this day, I still say that it looked more like an actual comic book.
Agreed.
Than anything that's been done since.
I agree with you. I think with Ole, the way he shot it and how he took the camera and tilted it. I love the stuff like with Dr. Doom, and he made it very, with the hands. It's very comic bookish. That's how
it really. Well,
that's how it is.
Also, like we had no money for the sets, and I made the design really kind of broad and planes
Yeah.
planes that were uninterrupted, just because that was what the comics looked like, you know.
Agreed. Agreed.
And I thought that the production design looked very comic book like, and even when we were out at the house, we went to the house,
The Storm House,
right?
Yeah, Storm
Yeah,
House,
and I thought that house kind of even went with it, and that you guys in the uniforms just looked I just thought it looked so much like the comic book, which considering we had absolutely no money at all, and the time frame was unbelievable, because they called me in. I think that they called me probably on the 10th of November.
Yeah, so our casting wasn't close to. It was like I read like the day before Christmas or a couple days.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
And they started shooting like on. It was like on the 29th and 30th of December, and it's like, wow. I mean, it was happened so quick. You got hired, next thing, and you're going. And I remember I was doing Renegade.
Right.
Lamas again. So I was doing that TV show, and then I did during the week. On the weekend, I would come up and I read for Oli during the weekend.
There was something about the very first day on set, was that everybody looked a little
like why
discombobulated, like there was none of that feeling that you get on a film that you've all been working for at least a couple of months, all the way up to like half a year, that you've been working that long on putting everything together for that first shot.
Yeah.
And there was none of that. I mean, literally we were all just standing there. I mean, I had probably been on it the longest, other than Oldie, just because I had to build sets in that horrible place where your foot kept going through the
rat. There's rats in there. It was nice because it was next to Gold's Gym, and that's where I trained. So
it's right there. That's right.
And that's now, that place now is a condo area. It's got like
it's way upscale. Yeah, because I mean, I think what was next door to us, the next thing was that famous lot that sold wood. They sold firewood, right?
Yeah.
And I had never understood how it was that in the middle of LA, there was a place that had stood there that long, this little tiny sliver of land, and just selling firewood for that long. It always surprised me.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
But so has anybody ever comment on the fact that there was a 5-inch difference between the two of you?
Yeah, they have. I mean, they have between us, me and Carl. And the thing is, I played football. I was a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne Division.
Right.
I'm a pretty, what do you call, rugged
stud
dude.
muffin.
Yeah,
staunch. Large.
Yeah, I guess all that. I can handle this, and I guess their experience with actors in suits has not been good, and they needed it because of the lead time it took to build the suit and things like that.
Right.
They said, well, instead of hiring an actor, let's just play it safe. Let's hire probably one of the best stunt guys in the world. Let's bring in Carl
Carl.
So yeah.
Well, the fact is nobody knew. I mean, even when I was hired, they had already been working on just the suit for a while. I mean, because that takes forever to put together, and so we were working with just kind of a medium range. Carl, kind of a medium range height.
So maybe it was a casting mistake. Maybe I should have been hired. Maybe I was too big, but I guess maybe I was so wonderful as an actor, they had to hire me.
Well, no, I have to say though, the look that you had was, it's kind of that chiseled, good looking guy, big, the big brother guy, You know, that look to you was absolutely what was needed there.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. During the scene when we were at the Baxter Building, and it was downtown Los Angeles, and the part where I run into Militia Masters and knock her over and pick her up and whatever,
right?
And I break her statue. Stan Lee was there. He was on the set, and I remember between takes, he came up to me and said, "Hey, Michael," he goes, "when I created and envisioned Ben Grimm, you are what you are that character." I'm like, wow, that's so nice of you to
rad.
to say that. So that's really cool. And but then a year, not a year later, about 6 or 7 months later, we're in San Diego Comic-Con. We have our table and our little table, and we're seeing, and then I look over and I see this big panel of comic book, what do you call it, the Marvel panel.
Right.
And someone from the crowd asked Stan Lee, "Hey, so what do you think of the new Fantastic Four movie?" "Well, I don't. They tried hard, but I don't give it much." I'm like, they just kind of threw our movie under the ground, and we kind of knew something was going on, and then it's just really funny how. So there's this, what's it called, at the Shrine Auditorium. There's in Los Angeles. There's this comic festival there. I forgot the name of the one.
Right.
We premiered the trailer there.
I remember. I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that the line to get in was down the street and around the corner.
It was.
And then I remember Alex Hyde White, he turns to me and he goes, "Michael, I think we have something." And then he goes, I said, "So what do you want to do about it?" And then my acting coach at the time was a guy by the name of Jeremiah Comey. A really great guy, and he always said that whenever you land that one film, you need to sink everything you made back into the film to promote yourself to get to the next level and do whatever.
Right.
And so he says, "Well, we need to hire a publicist." This is what Alex said. "I hire a publicist," and he goes, "But I don't have the money." I said, "Well, I have some money." So I took all that money and sunk it back into the film, and I hired a publicist. And I paid like I think $12,000 or $15,000 out of my own pocket. At the time, that was a lot of money, back in the
right. Oh yeah.
80s. And so we ran around and all these different comic book festivals and stores and everything, promoting it, signing autographs, doing everything, doing it for free and all that stuff like that. And so it was fun. It was a fun thing to do, to get behind it. Because you hear stories of Jean-Claude Van Damme, like his first movie he did was called Cyborg. And he basically, from the folklore is that he stood outside movie shows handing out flyers just everybody to come watch his movie.
Right.
So I'll do the same thing, whatever. So
yeah, it's kind of a. It had so many problems at the very end, and especially being as nobody wanted to back it. I mean, nobody was backing it because that wasn't the intent.
Yeah,
they just had to make it, and Ole had grabbed that print, and I had made all the models because I knew that we had a fake model guy, we had a fake effects guy on there that was saying, "Oh, we can do that optical effect, we can do this because we'll do them all with this new thing called CGI." But I knew he was an idiot, so I literally went out and made on the weekends. I made all the models that extended the mole down, that the top of of Doom's castle, the ship itself, the ship in space, and all the I did all that stuff, including the diopter that opened up to let the beam out. I did that all over the weekends in my garage because I knew that guy was going to fall through. And on the last day that we were filming, he stopped answering phone calls, and I went down there and grabbed the camera, and we filmed all the pieces that I'd made and then put it together. And by that time, nobody was backing the film anymore. Everybody was like, "Well, this isn't even on the slate anymore." I go, "Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We just needed to do a little thing here, a little thing there."
Yeah, it was pretty remarkable how everybody, like you guys all. I mean, come on, let's have some straight facts here. Actors got it easy. They do, right? So it's the crew people who worked a lot. They're there first thing in the morning, and the last ones to leave. And you guys did a phenomenal job of, after we, long gone and left, you guys were still working on the film and trying to piece it together, which is kind of nice. So, that's because you guys got an orchestra to donate their own time, and that soundtrack is phenomenal. It's better than most movies out there. It's great. It's classic.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really
it's absolutely crazy that any of it exists, because the real date of it was that we had to have half of a film. I think that contractually it's this: you have to have half the film made before the end of the year. That was what it was, and they determined 4 days before the end of the year that they were halfway through. So when we came back 4 days later after on the first, we came back 4 days later, and you could tell that the switch had been turned off. It was like, from then on, it was just really just pushing, like every day from there on, it was just pushing because then we were doing the Mole Marin stuff and things like that, and nobody really seemed to care anymore, So except for Ole, of course, Ole was like 100% before it. But I mean, the people that were there that were backing it up, because so much stuff is done in that little tiny studio. I mean, they do movies in 3 days down there. They literally. And they were getting all backed up.
Do you see the football helmet behind me?
Yes.
Yeah.
What letter does it have on there? It has an E.
Yeah.
Did you see in the movie at the beginning? I wear a Letterman jacket. What does it have on there? It has an E.
Oh.
I went to Eastern Michigan, so I wore because he went to Empire State.
Oh, that was your jacket?
That's my actual Letterman jacket. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Because that jacket was it was iconic. I mean, it was actually absolutely perfect for the role.
Yeah, that's my Eastern Michigan Letterman jacket. So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I just thought I still to this day think that the acting was perfect. That we did it. We did so much better of a job than they deserved.
No, it's good. For me personally, I mean, for my character, because I did the voice for the thing. And there's a mistake in the end of the film if you watch it. So what they did is for all this thing for the thing that I voiced over all of the stuff, and then they tweaked it so it's hey guys, whatever, right? So they made it a little bit lower,
right,
for the thing. But at the end of the film, when you got Sue Storm and Alex and Mr. Fantastic walking out married. And here comes the thing going, hey guys, everyone back away. They forgot to dub, they forgot to morph my, tweak my voice. So it's my voice voicing it over. So I told Ole that. I said, you made a mistake. He goes, holy crap. He completely forgot. So just.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, I mean, we all had great dreams, and by the end, we were just snatching whatever we could get.
Yeah, it was one of those things where we were all hoping that, it'd get to this next level. But again, if you look at the film, it was about the same time as Jurassic Park came out, so it just shows the difference in budgets.
Oh, yeah. Well, the other interesting thing, though, is that Marvel had not really, at that point,
No.
Marvel hadn't done any films. I mean, in fact, I would say that
nothing until Blade.
Yeah, the footprint of the Marvel film was little tiny.
Oh yeah, like the Punisher, all those all those
Spider-Man, the original, the TV Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, they hadn't done anything movie-wise that was of any better quality than the TV show that they did with Bill Bixby. You know what
The Hulk.
The Hulk, yeah.
No, wait a minute. That's my favorite TV show. You can't.
Well,
That is a very good TV show.
But that's what I'm saying is that was the highest quality of anything that they had done. So
here's the story. So I'm back at Eastern. So during football season, you're focused on playing football. But in the off season during the winter time, you're going, you're studying, but you're going to parties and doing whatever, right? And we'd always have parties at people's houses or at sorority chicks' houses or whatever, like all these guys there, and they'd always have the TV on, and always it came on Friday nights. It came on at 8 o'clock, or is it 9 o'clock? And at 20 after and 10 till is when the Hulk would always appear. It was timed when David Banner would turn into the Hulk.
Right.
It'd be always 20 after and 10. It was clockwork every time, 20 after and 10 till. And so I always have to stop talking, everyone. And then he'd turn on the TV, and I'd watch the part where he turned into the Hulk, and then I'd go back and party again until it was 10 till. Then he'd come around again. That was like clockwork, and people.
There you go.
Yeah, I was so into the. I love Lou Ferrigno. I've always been an underdog. I always root for the underdog. I've always been an underdog my entire life, and it may not seem like it, but it's true. I was picked on and beat up in high school. I had big ears that stuck out, and I had short hair, and so I'd always have to find new ways of the bus, after school every day, because there was always waiting to pound on me, So that's probably how I got fast. And
that's right.
That paid off when I went to the Cowboys, but yeah. So I've always been a big fan of him, and of course Schwarzenegger as well. But I like Lou Ferrigno. Yeah.
I was going to ask you. So the role that you did in Nightmare on Elm Street 5, you played Super Freddy. Honestly, I have to tell you the truth. I worked on the beginning of that film, and I took off just a little bit after filming. After the start of filming, I was doing mechanical effects with Andre. What did that entail?
Yeah, so at the time I was not an actor. I had there was a friend of mine who his name is Steve Henneberry, great guy. He and I were really close friends. We just got reconnected like last week, actually, after probably 20-25 years. But he was at Universal. We both lived in San Diego. After I'd finished with the Cowboys, I went to San Diego, and long story, I went with some gal, and that lasted about a couple months, and then she left me for some bald guy. It's funny, I had hair, and she dumped me for some bald guy.
Full circle.
But he was a lot smarter than me. He was an engineer, but it was a blessing. And so I was training at Gold's Gym in San Diego there, and I lived on the beach, and it was in San Diego. Come on, I mean, yeah, I lived in PB, Pacific Beach, and it was great. And so with him, he and I befriended each other. He says, hey, he would go up to play Conan the Barbarian in the Universal. He was Conan.
Oh right, yeah, in the live show.
Yeah, he did that, and then he would also get an acting and audition for stuff. And he said, hey, I'm going up to Los Angeles to go read this movie called Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. And why don't we come? After I'm done, we can go to Gold's Gym in Venice and train. I said, great, that's the Becca bodybuilding, right? That's where I want to go. And so he went there, and when we went to the audition, he went and auditioned, and as we were leaving, they asked me if I wanted to. I said, well, I'm not really an actor. And he goes, well, just come on in anyway. So I went in and met the director, and he asked me, it was a guy named Stephen Hopkins, really well known, as you know, British guy. And he says, he asked me if I seen any Freddy Krueger movies, and I said, yes. And he goes, well, I need someone that's big and can laugh like Freddy Krueger. Can you do it? I laughed this big laugh. He goes, guess what? You got the job. And that's kind of what happened. And so that's pretty much how it happened. I wasn't in this, I wasn't SAG, I wasn't in union, nothing. And so I showed up on the first day, and they Taft-Hartley'd me, which is awesome, which got me SAG eligible. And then the next thing you know, I'm sitting in a trailer with Robert Englund, and he's teaching me how to, talking to me about, Freddy Krueger and what I'm going to be doing. And then they put the prosthetics. I mean, they use the same prosthetics they did for him, but my head's a lot bigger. so they'd add extra pieces.
Okay.
Mine's during the dream sequence, so it's all gray, and then to make an extra hat and a bigger hat, the bigger glove, and all that thing. And then the suit I wore, the outfit, it had it wasn't supposed to have the lightning bolt across it. Remember, they had put squibs underneath me when the masked marauder shot me. Only shot me, it set the thing on fire and burned a hole in the outfit. So they had to then do a lightning bolt across to cover the hole.
Oh, wow.
That sounds kind of cool. So that was my first role. I got my first 5 lines, faster than a bastard maniac, that kind of situation.
That's a good. That's a good Freddie. I can hear the edge of Freddie in there, man. I really good.
Yeah, agreed. And that's did that, and then the part that people don't know about. Here you go. So it's I was on that show being the Super Freddy part for it was a week or maybe 2 weeks. It went on. It was just for small dinky role because they'd call me in and then they wouldn't shoot me or whatever. But on the last couple days, I'm staying on set because I just love being there and watching. And I'm standing there, and I saw the casting director there with the director, and they're talking. They look over at me, and they would talk. Look, oh crap, am I getting fired or what's going on? And then the casting director comes over, and she goes, "Hey, Michael." I said, "Yes." And she goes, "What would you think about doing a love scene?" I'm going, "What? You mean as Freddy Krueger?" And she goes, No, just the body double. I said, "And do I have to pay you?" She goes, "No, we're going to pay you." I go, and I said, "Yeah, I'm all in." So what it was, I was the body double for the lead guy. And so at the beginning, remember, it's Dream Child. So Freddy comes back through the girl who's pregnant, her dreams and the baby's dreams. And so there had to be a lovemaking at the beginning, and that was me and this other body double for the other girl.
That's great.
And I never, in my first time doing this, and I'm like, this is kind of weird, and yeah, so it was kind of cool. It was very technical though. It wasn't romantic at all. Trust me.
The first time I remember seeing you on screen would have to be that iconic scene in Master of Disguise, the Jaws. Oh. Have you seen this, Mick?
No, I have not.
So Dana, who plays the Master of Disguise in that film,
Dana Carvey,
Dana Carvey, he's playing Quint, a parody character, and he's bouncing off of him, and he's just doing this whole thing, and he's just in a little rowboat, and he's doing the whole Jaws monologue back and forth. It's so funny.
I gotta see.
And here's the funny thing. So my older son is just got out, but he was an Army Ranger in the 75th Ranger Regiment. So he's a special operations, badass, warrior. And in their unit, when they're what they call it CID, it's Criminal Investigation Division, whatever, they're interrogating someone, they use that scene, the quick scene on there and they have subtitles, here's a Ranger and here's CID. So they have the CID guys, the guy on the boat, is Dana on the boat going, "You ever seen those eyes?" And we go, "What?" That's the Ranger going, "What?" It's always like, "What?" And so you just don't have the answer. So it's pretty good. It's funny with that movie. We just me and another guy that I worked with, and right now his name escapes me. Vincent Riverside, great guy, still a good friend of mine to this day. We worked on it together. He was the smaller guy on that show, and there were some great bits on there that we come up with, but we couldn't be too funny. You kind of know the hierarchy on a TV show. If you're funnier than the other people, then you can't do that.
Yeah.
But the classic. Do I have a picture of it? I do. Hold on for a second.
Ooh.
So here is, I got some on my wall. Here is, can you see this?
Yes.
Right,
Here,
can you see that?
There you go, right there. Okay, pull it back that way. Up a little bit.
There we go.
Oh, great.
So that's me and Dana Carvey on my lap.
Oh,
That's Dana Carvey on my lap, so that's pretty cool. So that's the Joel McCarthy shot, and he's going, "I'm the dummy." No, you're the dummy.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And there's one part where the guy who's the painter goes, "All right, we're gonna paint here." That guy with the long hair that always paint the old guy. That it did one of those scenes. He goes, and it was Dana playing that, going, "Yeah, we're gonna paint a mustache on the big bald-headed scary guy." It was a great thing. It was great. It was a great movie to work on. It was really good. It was fun.
well, Michael, hey, listen, you've been a lot of fun. It was really, really great catching up with you after all these years.
You too, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
And I think that we're supposed to hand it now back over to TJ, and he kills us off.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Rabbit Hole podcast. Of course, the Rabbit Hole podcast is part of the Project Louder podcasting network. Head on over to projectlouder.net, your source for pop culture and so much more. So until next week, which will be our year in review yearly episode, this is your host with the most, TJ Bowser. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh,